ladies and gentlemen. So, if you saw my episode yesterday with the questions for men, or men have for women, you'll notice that there was one question that was asked in the comments that I decided to push off into this video. And the main reason why I did that was because when I went to record, I noticed that my conversation on that particular topic was 5 to 6 minutes long, which is a lot of time. And I decided probably better just to create a whole video based on the delusions that I believe that modern women are facing and tend to be living in. Okay, so the other question that was asked by, I believe it was Macadox, and again, forgive me if I mispronounce the names. At the end of the day, people, I am only fluent in 2 languages, and that's attitude and sarcasm. So, we're going to leave that one alone. So if I mispronounce your name, I do apologize. But the question he asked was, why are modern women so delusional in thinking they are equal to men? Now, this is a very complicated and complex question. And I'm going to do my best to try to answer it to my knowledge. Again, I don't have any special titles behind my name. And I'm going to try to do it without getting canceled, because every time an opinion hits too close to the truth, then the channels get canceled. So let's cross our fingers and hope. So it actually starts when the little girls are very young. There's a lot of propaganda for young girls. There has been for quite a few decades, actually. And it starts with something very simple. So someone will see a little girl and they'll ask her, what do you want to be when you grow up? If she happens to answer that she wants to be a mother, like some little girls do, they'll answer, I want to be a mother. So happy and so excited. And then the person will then say, okay, well, what else do you want to be? And while that seems very small, and to a lot of people, they'll be thinking, well, you need money to be able to afford a child. I understand that. At the same time, in that moment, it's pushing off the mother part of it and asking about a career. Because essentially that's what they're asking. Because then the question follow-up is, do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to be a lawyer? Do you want to be a scientist? They don't go with teachers. They don't ask if you want to be a teacher. They generally don't ask about any other field, especially if it's a male-dominated field. They don't ask her, do you want to be a builder? They don't ask her, do you want to go work on the oil rigs? No, they ask her if she wants to be a lawyer, a politician, if she wants to be a police officer, things like that. Pretty much positions of power. And very career-heavy. And it is unfortunate, and even though the young girl won't fully understand that, that will be the first instance where someone, and there will be a lot of them, will push off the fact that she wants to be a mother and ask about a career. Because it's never just about a job. It's always a career field that they're looking for as the answer. And then it starts in school. So when you're in school, there's a huge push, especially in a lot of the public schools, for women being in STEM courses. Even if the women are not exactly great at math or science, there'll be this huge push. And while on one end that makes sense if the ladies are great at math and that's what they want to do, but to women that maybe aren't the best at that, one, it's going to make them feel very insecure because they can't do the high mathematics that are needed for those careers. And at the same time, it's another instance of everyone shoving a career down the young girl's throat, saying, this is what you should be looking at. On top of course, the women's rights movements that is taught in school, and everything along those lines. It's just a whole bunch of pushing towards a career. We fought to get you the right to vote. We fought for the right for you to work, so now you need to take advantage of it, is almost the way it comes off. And then once the girl hits about puberty, that's when the second lie comes in, when she actually starts dating. And this is going to vary depending on a girl. But I can guarantee you the majority of the women listening have heard this. at one point. Either they've heard it being said to a young girl, or they've said it, or it's been said to them. And what women of experience, usually older classmen, or people in the family, or sisters, or whatever, they'll sit there and tell the young girl, especially if the young girl is saying, I don't really want to have S right now. I want to say she's very religious. She says, I want to wait till I'm married. Her parents did, and she thinks it's just the most romantic thing in the world. And then you're going to have that one woman sits there and says, well, honey, that's cute. Okay, that's Hollywood though, honey. You need to understand that men don't want virgins. They don't. They want the sexy thing. They want the experience. That's what they're looking for in the dating market. And in the beginning, most of those young girls are going to ignore it. Because women lie a lot. And we know that. But then when you actually get into the dating market, head on, and all of a sudden you're getting ghosted by guys because you're not interested in that, you're looking for a long-term relationship, then for the women, it almost starts to sink in. It almost does start to sink in that, well, maybe all those women are right. And then it starts to change the woman's behavior. Because women do not like being ghosted, and they definitely don't like being denied. And they don't like the feeling of no worth. And even though, as virgins, at that point, as many men would say, your value's at your highest, at that time in the dating market, it doesn't feel like it because none of the men around us are mature enough or are looking for what we're looking for. The men are all looking for a good time. And if they can't get it from you, they'll walk away and go find it with someone else. So, men, you kind of need to understand it from that side of the view first, is that the propaganda and everything has been pushed down women's throats since they were little girls. Some of them get away with it. Some of them end up growing a much thicker skin. Some of them are strong enough to be able to avoid the brainwashing. But it's still there. And that's the first thing. It's the propaganda early on, in my opinion, that pushes a career, pushes this, pushes that. And then you have the second lie, in my opinion, or the second big part of why there's a delusional idea. It's because after a girl starts having S, all of a sudden her options open up. And then she starts to see her nether regions almost like this black credit card that has no limit. That's almost how she starts to see it. And she starts to seek validation from the relationships by having S, even though it's only temporary. Usually speaking, there's not usually a strong mother figure or a strong female figure in her life to be able to tell her, this is wrong. What you're searching for, you're not going to find this way. You're just not going to find it. And that's where it comes in, and they start getting a whole bunch of experience, and they start losing the feminine part of themselves. Some women can find it later on, but generally speaking, a lot of these women, they tend to almost become masculine. And I am not going to sit there and say that having S so many times makes you masculine. I am going to say that in my experience, the women that have had more S tended to be a lot more masculine than the women that didn't. And after all of that, then you have society coming in. Society telling girls, you can be as strong as men. You can be anything that men can be. Which sounds great early on. In all reality, though, when there's an intruder coming in, breaking into your house, you can guarantee the woman's going to expect you to go down there. But if we're fighting for equal rights, why doesn't she go down? And let's just take the idea that Okay, she goes down. Let's just take that scenario. She goes down, fights the intruder. You guys have young kids. She dies. The police get there, end up arresting the guy. What is the community itself going to say about you as a man because she went down there? Do you think they're going to applaud her? They're going to applaud the feminist movement is going to rally and say, yes, yes, we are just like men. She gave her life for those children. No, that's not what's going to happen. What's going to happen is you are going to be ridiculed by everyone in the community. You need to move states, possibly countries, to get away from the ridicule at that point, because society itself, while it's saying that women and men are equal, if a woman dies, you would be ridiculed for not stepping in as a man. You would be ridiculed by the men for not doing your job. And then you'll be ridiculed for the women for not protecting your children and your woman there, not doing your manly duties. Now, at the same time, if you were to go down there and you were to sacrifice your life for your kids and her, totally different experience. Your name will go down as honor. Your name will be honored. The news will come up and they say this man died for his children and his wife, and now they don't have a father in their life. We need to rally and support this family. We need to help this family because they lost a father. All of a sudden, the tone is different. So even though the society itself is pushing that men and women are equal, in all reality, if you just go back to basics, even if you were to try and you wanted to give it a shot because feminism sounds so great, yeah, women could pay for half the bill. It sounds awesome. But when it actually comes down to it, society is still going to mock you as men for not fulfilling your male priorities. You see it all the time when it comes to paternity tests. And Maury, he had a great show. Steve Wilkos, he had a great show too. All because of the cheating going around. And while it was funny, the shows were funny, and they were for entertainment purposes, of course. At the end of the day, though, it really shows you that despite women wanting and calling for equality, in all reality, they're not going to. Because when the worst happens, they are going to rely on men. And if you do not do your role as a man, you're going to be ridiculed. Versus dying a hero. And that's why, personally, a lot of women are falling away from feminism. We see how it's turning. We've seen how it's turned. Let's be honest. It's been about a decade or two. We've seen how it turned. And we see where it's going, and we're not happy with the way it's trying to go. Because most of us women have young boys. And we don't want our boys to be dealing with the feminism that's out there right now. We're afraid for our boys. We're afraid that he's going to impregnate some woman and then she's going to keep the kids from him. Or better yet, say something that he didn't do and put him in jail. So we see the way it's going. And unfortunately, it's kind of gotten out of hand to where I'm not even sure, honestly, if we can fix it. But what I can tell you, men, is that stick to your guns. Stick to what's natural. Because those feminists, those women that are fighting for equal rights, aren't the women you want anyway. They're not the ones you want. They're probably not going to be the ones that are going to be there for you through the harshness of your career building. They won't. And you really probably don't have to worry so much because, they're usually going after the 1% of guys that have everything together anyway. So the best advice I can give you is just be yourselves. Be the protector that you're meant to be. Don't let this feminist crap blindside you. Don't let them put blinders on over your eyes. Stay true. Because if the world falls apart, or if that solar flare that we're a little late for comes by and knocks out all of our electric, feminism won't matter. It just won't matter. Because at the end of the day, women are going to then rely on men again for protection. So as to the short answer to the question, it's mainly because women have been fed propaganda since they were little girls, and it's a delusion that they live in. And especially when they first get onto the dating market, and they start having S a lot, they have a lot of value then. They could get it from anywhere. And that delusion doesn't lift until later on in their lives. And that's when the truth comes out. And it's a very harsh reality that women are faced with at that point. So that's the best answer I can give. Again, this channel is not for advice, really. It's mainly for entertainment purposes only. I don't have any special titles behind my name. So take my opinions, do with them what you will, and do your own research. There are plenty of YouTube channels out there that you can look into, and you can figure it out on your own. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our video. If you have any questions or stories of your own, make sure to comment below or email me. And if it's really good, I will work on getting it into future videos. Like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.